Absolutely. Thanks, Molly. As Molly said, my name is J.R. Gearhart, and I currently serve as our Director of Recruitment in the Office of Admissions at the University of Southern Mississippi. And so, for those of you who don't know where we're even located, we are in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And so, we're about an hour and a half from New Orleans, an hour and a half from Mobile, an hour and a half from our capital city of Jackson. But we're also an hour from the Gulf Coast. And so, it feels like it's always really nice to get a little quick beach getaway every now and then. We are a great medium-sized university, if that's what you're kind of looking for. We have about 11,500 undergraduate students, with about 9,000 of those students being on our Hattiesburg campus. And then we have a great campus as well on Long Beach, so our Gulf Park campus too. And so we have over 100 different majors. We have scholarship opportunities that start at a 21 on the ACT with a 3.0 grade point average. We just have a lot of fun opportunities for our students here on campus to get experience in the classroom as well as outside the classroom, which I know that a lot of people are kind of looking for too. And so it's a great place to be. A lot of fun things and exciting things happening on campus and in the city of Hattiesburg. And so if that's something that excites you, we hope to see you here next fall.
Absolutely. And so I know you already mentioned a little bit about scholarships, but even prior to that, kind of from the get-go for students, talk to me about the admissions application. When does that typically open for y'all? Is there an admissions application deadline? So some of those things around admissions.
Yeah, so our application will open up August 1st. And so if you're watching this after August 1st, our application is open. We only need a few things for the application. It's a really quick and easy. It takes about maybe 10, 15 minutes. No essays, no letters of recommendation. So nice, smooth, and easy. There's a $45 application fee for our to process the application. And then to be evaluated for admission on top of that application fee, all we need is a standardized test score, so ACT or an SAT score, and your high school transcript. And so our admission deadline is not until June 30th of 2022, but there's another important deadline to be admitted by before then, and that's going to be December 1st. And so students must be admitted by December 1st in order to receive any of our academic scholarships. And so to be considered for scholarships like our academic merit or our honors college or for Lucky Day or any of our competitive programs, students must be admitted by December 1st. And so we encourage students to apply by middle of November at the latest to be qualified for those scholarships because that is an admission deadline, not an application deadline. And so it takes time, to process an application, to get a transcript submitted, maybe for ACT to send over some test scores. And so we just want to make sure that students have plenty of time to get admitted by that December 1st deadline. And so application opens up August 1st, scholarship deadline of December 1st with an overall admission deadline of June 30th of 2022.
I love those little timeline dates. That always helps me, and I know it helps students too. So,
Absolutely.
And I know you already kind of mentioned this, talking about ACT score for scholarships, but can you kind of talk more around like ACT score and GPA for, like ensuring a student an academic scholarship and kind of what that looks like for y'all?
Yeah, so ensuring an academic scholarship is one, be admitted by December 1st, which I just kind of, I'm going to hammer that in here several times throughout this conversation. And another one is our scholarship start at 21 on the ACT, provided they have a 3.0 core GPA. And so with core GPA, we are looking at students' core classes, so math, science, English, history, electives, art, and their art credit. And so we don't always take what's on the transcript, so that's pretty important. And so students that might take several art classes when we only take one, or they have PE or a sport that they get an A in that might boost their GPA, we don't calculate that into the grade point average. And so that is something to kind of consider. And then the other thing is that we are now super scoring for scholarships. And so I'm very excited to kind of talk about that. And so scholarships at 21 on the ACT with a 21 super score on the ACT with a 3.0 will actually get you a $3,000 scholarship a year. And so we are now super scoring for ACT. We have increased our amounts that we're awarding for ACT scholarships. And so our a 21 and 3.0 is $3,000. A 30 on the ACT with a 3.0 is still full tuition. And another component that we added this year is so students with a 33 super score or higher on the ACT with a 3.0 GPA, they'll get 4 years of their tuition covered and they'll get their first year of housing covered. And so that's something we're really excited to announce, is that we're super scoring for ACT. Our amounts have actually increased as well. And then that housing component for those high ability students as well for 33s. And so if you have a 33 or higher and want your housing covered, come on to Southern Miss. And the thing is with that, Molly, is that that also doesn't count any of their state aid that they might receive. That might stack on top of that. So MESG or MTAG will stack on top of those
Still
scholarships.
stackable.
Yep.
Those are some new and exciting things. That's awesome to
Yeah,
hear.
very exciting to announce that.
And honestly, you already answered my question about the ACT Super Score. So I'm really glad to know that. And that's so good for any counselors or students who might be listening to this. So good to know, because that's such a large question that gets asked just like round and around,
Yeah.
right? For any kind of like university. So super glad to hear that.
And we also have, so just sorry, Molly, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
A 24 to a 26. So when you get to that 24 range, with a 3.0, that'll be $5,000 a year, which is over half off tuition. And so any students from Mississippi, in-state students, if you have a 24 or higher super score on the ACT, you're already looking at over half of your tuition being covered. And that's automatically, again, like that's no essays, no letter recommendation. That's being admitted, again, by December 1st and having that super score ACT in that 3.0 core GPA.
Awesome. Love it. And I know we, talking heavily about like academic merit scholarships, ACT-based scholarships. Is there a separate scholarship application that students need to be looking at and filling out? And is that a requirement?
Absolutely. It's not a requirement, but I know that, Molly, you know as well as I do, we want people to apply for as many scholarships as possible. So our scholarship application will open up September 1st. It is called our Golden Opportunity Scholarship System. So GO for short is what we call it. You cannot apply for those scholarships until you're admitted. So again, we want you to be admitted, submit those items that we need as soon as possible so you can start applying for those scholarships. Within our GO system, we house over 850 different types of scholarships. So it could be departmental, it could be from our USM Foundation, it could be our competitive scholarships, such as Honors College, Lucky Day, or McCarty Scholars. And so all of that will be housed in the GO system. And so we do have an additional scholarship system. It will open up September 1st, and then students can start applying for them once they're admitted. And so we want students to apply for as many scholarships as possible to be considered for as many scholarships as possible.
Now, I know that you've already answered the question about admissions deadlines for scholarships. Everybody should know that now at this point. But what about for the actual scholarship application? Is there a specific deadline relating to that, or is it more based on the scholarship that you might be applying for?
Yeah, it's definitely based on the scholarship you're applying for. So our competitive scholarships, so our Honors College, Lucky Day, McCarty Scholars, they will have a scholarship deadline of January 15th. Our other departmental and foundation scholarships have a priority deadline of February 15th. And so we want to make sure that you will submit your scholarship application definitely before February 15th, but we're hoping that students will submit those before the end of the year. And that way they can focus on maybe their essays, applying for housing or orientation, those next steps. But a priority deadline of February 15th, except for those competitive scholarships, that is going to be January 15th. And again, they still have to be admitted by December 1st.
By December 1st. And okay, you already talked a little bit about these specific scholarships, Lucky Day, Honors College, those, I just forgot my
those are competitive scholarships.
Competitive scholarships, thank you. But are there any other unique type of scholarships that students need to know about, or do you want to maybe even just expound upon like Honors College or Lucky Day, but any type of unique scholarships for students?
Yeah, I'll expand a little bit on Lucky Day and Honors College, and then a few more of our programs. So Honors College, students can apply for the Honors College provided they have a 24 on the ACT and a 3.5 GPA. Once they apply for the Honors College, the review process is test and GPA blind. And so our Honors College reviewers, they're looking very diligently at your application and at your essays. And so our Honors College is application-based. Students won't be admitted just based off of their, if they have a great GPA or have a great standardized test score. They also have to have a great application as well. And so any student admitted into our Honors College will receive an honors college scholarship. And so anyone admitted will receive what's called our Honor Scholar Award. That's a $2,000 a year scholarship that will stack with any of those ACT scholarships I talked about earlier. And then we have some super competitive scholarships. And so Discovery is going to be for 4 years tuition, a year of housing, a $5,000 study abroad stipend, and a $1,750 research grant. Then we have our Presidential Scholarship, which is essentially the full ride. So it'll be 4 years of tuition, 4 years of housing, 4 years of a meal plan, and 4 years of a book stipend too. And so those are extremely competitive. Not everybody's going to receive one of those, but the test blind option and test blind review process allows any of those students to possibly qualify for a Discovery or a Presidential Scholarship. And so I think that's very exciting. And
yeah, absolutely.
And we also have our Lucky Day Scholarship, which focuses a lot at students holistically and their involvement inside and outside of the classroom. One nice thing about this is that it's only for Mississippi students. And so for you Mississippi counselors that are watching this or Mississippi students that are watching this, you won't have these out-of-state students trying to take that scholarship opportunity. It is still very competitive. And so I do want to make sure that that is known. But just make sure that you focus on your essays for that as well. There's a supplemental piece in there too, where you're kind of able to showcase who you are. And so just making sure that we don't procrastinate on that and make sure we have that submitted in plenty of time before January 15th. And then we have several different departmental scholarships based off maybe your major and based off your county that you're from, your hometown. And so we just want you to fill out that GO application so you can qualify and apply for as many scholarships as possible.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece for everybody. Fill out that GO scholarship application, see what's on there, see what you might qualify for. And outside of scholarship opportunities, a lot of our students rely heavily on, federal aid, the FAFSA, as a piece of helping them pay for their college education through grant money and loans. So what about the FAFSA? Is that a requirement for admissions, for scholarships, and completing the FAFSA?
It wouldn't be a get to college meeting without talking about the FAFSA. So
Of course it wouldn't be. Come on now.
And so, yes, our FAFSAs are required for any scholarship opportunity. And so, being at Southern Miss, we try to work with Get to College and hosting those FAFSA days, trying to get as many people to complete the FAFSA as possible. But yes, the FAFSA is required. I highly encourage students to fill that out, as well as the state aid application. Anything that we can do to try to increase the amount of awards that they can receive. We will stack any scholarships or grants up to cost of attendance. And so we definitely want people to fill out that FAFSA, and that opens up October 1st. And so the sooner the better for that. And we have a FAFSA priority date of December 15th. And so programs like work study or supplemental grants are a lot of times first come, first serve. And so for students that want to qualify for those programs, we need them to apply for and submit their FAFSA to us as soon as possible. And that opens up in October.
Now, just reiterating, required for scholarship purposes, but what about just for admissions purposes?
It's not required just for admissions, but we still want to encourage all students to fill out that FAFSA.
Awesome. Now, ACT dates. What is the last ACT score date accepted for scholarship consideration?
Yeah, so I've mentioned a lot December 1st, but we still take the December ACT for scholarship purposes. That'll be the last one that we take is the December ACT. And so if a student gets higher on the ACT or their super score goes up for another scholarship bracket after that December ACT, we send scholarship upgrades out in February. And so students still have to be admitted by December 1st in order to qualify for those academic scholarships. But the December ACT is the last one we'll take for scholarship purposes.
Perfect. Awesome. So we know a lot of students also ask a lot about the housing process. When does housing open? What does this look like? When am I going to know where I'm going to live? All of the things around housing. So for y'all at Southern Miss, when does the housing application typically open? And is there a housing application deadline?
So we do not have a housing application deadline. Our housing application will open up October 1st, and we have a priority deadline of February 15th. And so we want to make sure that as many students apply for housing before that housing priority deadline as possible. Like many of our counterparts in the state, we require freshmen to live on campus for their first year. And so I think it's just a great way to get them involved on campus, to
Mhm.
get them plugged into the community, allow them to see what the resources that are at Southern Miss. And so um, first year housing is required. And then the application fee will, or the, sorry, the housing application will open up October 1st.
Perfect. All right. And so, kind of going on a different tangent, what about any new or unique programs that we should be telling students about that might be new or just that you want to kind of reiterate? Um, Tell us about that.
Yeah, I wish I had time to talk about all of our programs because I know we don't have time to talk about over 100 different academic programs. But
We could be here for 2 hours, right?
right, absolutely. I could talk for 2 hours about that as well. One thing that we help students get to wherever they're trying to go, whatever their career path is. And so if they're trying to go to medical school, we have fantastic biological sciences, chemistry and biochemistry, polymer science and engineering to get, as well as with our pre-professional office to help them study for the MCAT, get involved with our 2 hospitals and shadowing that we have here in Hattiesburg, student organizations. They also, our pre-professional office also works with people that might be pre-law. And so allow them to find a major that's the best fit for them, such as their English or history or political science. Fantastic nursing program, one of the top programs that we have in the state here at Southern Miss. And so if our students are interested in nursing, we have that available. One of 40 public universities in the country that are accredited in all 4 of the arts. So art, theater, dance, music, we have all of that available here at Southern Miss. Business, we have marketing, accounting, our healthcare marketing program. We consistently send people on internships with companies such as Eli Lilly to get them that real world experience. Our accounting program has Meet the Firms, where accounting firms from not only Mississippi, but other areas will come and recruit our students. And so we just have a ton of different programs, social work, psychology, anything that if you want to become a secondary teacher, so teaching in the high schools, elementary education, um, hearing, speech and hearing, if you want to become work in audiology, whatever a student is trying to go in for a career, we have a program that can help them accomplish their goals. And so that's a very brief, very surface level of our programs that we have, but anything engineering related as well, computer engineering, ocean engineering on our Gulf Park campus is fantastic. And so whatever students are looking for, we have it here on campus, and we can help them with whatever they're looking for a career, as well as giving them an overall student experience outside the classroom too.
I love it. Even though it was a brief overview, it still gave a lot of good information. So here for it. And even outside of academics, is there anything else new or exciting that we should know to share with students, or anything else that you might think would be beneficial for high school counselors to know as they're meeting with their students?
Yeah, I think that our students love our athletic events here. So us being Division One, we have some great students that are competing week in and week out on the for their respective sports, and our students are able to support them by getting into free for all of our sporting events on campus, and so that's really exciting. If they want to still compete but can't compete at that D1 level, I would know that. I love playing sports in high school, but I also knew I was not good enough to play in college. But have great intramural sports as well to stay active. We are the only public university in the state of Mississippi to celebrate Mardi Gras as a holiday. And so our students get 2 days off in the spring for Mardi Gras. Unfortunately, staff do not get off for Mardi Gras, and I'm still trying to fight that battle. So for now, I'll take off the Monday and Tuesday of Mardi Gras. And so that will just be my personal battle that I'll go with for my supervisor consistently. But
Of course.
we have a fantastic fraternity and sorority life on campus for students to get involved in. About 25% of our students are involved in a Greek organization, religious organizations, pre-professional organizations, whatever students are trying to get involved in. We have a way to get them plugged in to get that outside that classroom experience, which I know we're all trying to achieve, and to also develop relationships, make new friends, and to just network with other people too, whether that be their classmates, their professors, staff members here, anyone that they're trying to get connected with, we can help them with that.
Love it. And that kind of segues into my sort of last question here. We know that for students and really for everybody. This past year has been a difficult one, an interesting one, very new, very weird. And, with students learning virtually and disrupted routines, all of the things, what resources do y'all have available for students to address some of those issues, like around mental health services, career centers, tutoring centers, services, things of that nature?
Yeah, we have a fantastic counseling center that our students are able to kind of go to. I believe they offer them 8 free sessions a semester, and so that's really nice. For tutoring, we have our speaking and our writing center. And so if you're having trouble with public speaking or don't feel comfortable talking in front of large groups, we're able to help you out with that. And our writing center will help you maybe review a paper. You might not have written a paper ever in APA format. It's been MLA all through high school, and then they're like, then they change it up on you. So that's what happens. And so you don't know how to write in a new format or to cite things correctly. We have our writing center for that. And and our writing center, as well as career services, help out with creating resumes. And so how to make our students stand out in a job pool where maybe tens or maybe hundreds of people apply for, helping them stand out. Our career services center hosts several career fairs throughout. They'll help you with interviewing skills if that's what you need help with. Those one-on-one conversations, maybe are very good in a large group, but when it comes to that last interview, you might struggle a little bit. They're there to help you out with that. And so we have a lot of different resources. Our student affairs side is very adamant about helping students get to where they want to be. And then if there's something that you need help with, ask somebody. That is what we're here to do. And so the person you ask is not able to help you, I guarantee you that they'll be able to know the person who is able to help you.
I love it. Awesome. JR, thank you so much for sharing all that awesome information about Southern Miss. I know this is going to be really, really beneficial for counselors and for students to hear, especially with some of those changes regarding like scholarships and super scoring. And so I just appreciate you being here and appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you all asking me to do this. I'm excited to hopefully be able to travel quite a bit in the fall and see some people face to face, which would be extremely nice. If anyone has any questions or they want me to send information or have Southern Miss visit their school, email me. I'm sure they get to call to provide that contact information on my email address. Again, with me traveling a good bit in the fall, email is probably the best way to get in touch with me. So if there's a student, a parent, a counselor, principal, whoever it might be, an aunt, an uncle, whoever wants to ask me a question about Southern Miss, email me. I'm glad to help out with whatever they might need.